Right, welcome back everyone, and welcome Mr. Mike.
Hi.
So you've got 10 minutes to speak. Oh, we're speaking on behalf of the Masterton District Council Brass Band. You've got 10 minutes to speak, so 7 minutes to present, and then there'll be 3 minutes for questions at the end.
Yep.
A bell will ring after 7 minutes.
And we'll stop.
You know that it's time to wind up. And just a reminder that the meeting's being live streamed on the Masterton District Council YouTube channel. So the floor is yours.
Thanks. We'll get our own back while we go through it. Thanks, Mike Hoskins, Masterton District Brass Band. You have heard from us before. I looked at 2019. I think there was 8 slides. I've got a few more today, so we'll get on with it. Hopefully you've all had the sheets that we sent out. The thing that we've decided this year is that as a band committee and as a band, we want to look at what we want to do whole. We don't want to come here and say we want a new instrument or we want this or we want that. What's the band doing? How do we decide what's priority, and then how do we put into practice what we need to do? So there were a few things there. Committee listed the goals. Ideas were broken into actions. Finance people costed the actions, and then we looked at how we could get it. And of course, when the finance was done, it was pretty hard. I want to go back a bit. 2002 was the last time we were here. We applied for funds to grow our learner education program, and yes, we did it. We wanted to increase our numbers in the senior band in particular. We want a principal cornet player. Yes, we've got one. We've been going for about 4 years looking. Retain our musical director? Well, no, we didn't, but we've got a new guy, Kevin Pett, and the band is going well under his tutorage. Along with Carl, solo cornet, came from Auckland, Magic. We've just bought him a new cornet. Mark, assistant conductor, he's been around for a while. He's come in and he's helping the band. And also John, the tutor in the bass. Awesome guys. They're putting into the band, and the band is growing in sound and also gone ahead. And it's sort of, we've been at a hiatus and now we're moving to the next step. 2023, we celebrated 150 years continuous service, and I think the thing about that is Council's been around with us for most of that time. Previously you funded, and Tim, I noticed you said at the start, Masterton Council District Brass Band. Well done. I like that sound. Feel free to keep it up, but we will charge you for it. So in 2023 we were really proud. That's what we spent a lot of time organising it, and thanks to Gary for the work that you put in, giving us a bit of advice there at the start. Display and drinks, a pop-up play-out, a concert, and a sesquicentennial concert. That's what it used to look like, and note the hats on the bench there, pretty old. That's back for the time when we came. Pop-up play-out out in the library park. That was an awesome day. We turned up, and initially there was one person there and people just sort of came around, and it was a great way to celebrate. We were going to march down the main street, didn't quite work out with the cost of shutting the main street off. We had a dinner that night at the Wairarapa Club, yeah, and of course we had a guest speaker and a guest there. Thanks very much, Gary, that was awesome. It was great. And then we had a concert the next day, and I think the thing about the concert was, again, council facilities, we used the band rotunda. We had, you can't quite see them on stage, but the main band sat down the front. Then we had our juniors play as well, and I had a person come up to me afterwards saying that was a really well thought out concert, and I really enjoyed it. And the guy that said that is David Dobson, who is a musical director down in Wellington and has a lot of knowledge. And you can see there on the right, my brother and one of the learners, they're playing in the second cornet rank, and there's a couple of the audiences. One of the things that we did was we looked at carolling, and this year, last year in 23, we set up our liaison with Masterton. So Masterton had a great view. They organised it. 4 Thursdays, we thought we were going to manage it, or 4 Mondays or something, round to about Each night was about 5 different places, I suppose.
Yeah,
So
we did
20
15
different,
minutes at different stops.
yeah, different stops. And people, I mean, I sort of thought it was about 100 at some of the stops, and other stops there might have been 10. But that was really fantastic. And yes, we got a little bit of money for it, but we did it more for the community, and Mitre 10 want to put back into the community. Okay, 2024, what do we look like? We're available here. We want to improve people's ability. We want to go to a competition, and we want to have a robust learners program. So the learners program, we're in those schools, and we run band camp. We've been into a couple of other schools. We've come out and we run some lessons from students at the band room as well for the learners. That's us really here. That's why we do it. The band, if you ain't got it, you can't blow it. And that's, if you're not, I'm not there, I can't blow. If the instrument's not there, I can't blow. And if someone's not sorting out the band, and that's that whole thing we need to look at. Learners coming through, bands people playing, and in the community. So what do we want to do? We want to move the band into more schools. Want to increase the tutor pay. We've got tutors working for, what are you working for? Was it about $12.50 for half an hour or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, and it's just not acknowledging that. And we want to maintain the organisation, administration and the band. And that was our figures that we came up with. Income was 21 grand, expenditure 89 grand, shortfall was 67. That's why we're here. Okay, we're not going to get $67,000 and we're going to have to, we can do this, this and this. But that's what we were aiming at when we sat down and looked for what we could do as a band in terms of the community to carry on, to grow and maintain. What do people think about the band? We say, we lead community events and we get this sort of feeling sometimes, oh, the band will be there, and they ring up at the last minute. Can you play this parade or can you do this? You know, because you've done it for 20 years, oh, but it's on this date. So we're there, we do it, and we want education for students. And there's a few pictures of us at the pop-up. I don't know if you want to add anything, you've still got 30 seconds.
Me, 30 seconds? That's not long enough, you know that. So I work with the youth mainly. I do the senior band as well. I'm a cornet player and I'm secretary band manager, but the youth is where I come from. And we're in different schools, I will admit. I just moved a student at Lakeview recently. She was playing cornet for the last term, struggling. Moved her to a tenor horn on Monday. She walked out that door with a big smile on her face, because we worked out the instrument she needed. She wanted a cornet right from word go. I knew she needed something else, but we had to go with what she wanted. Now she's seeing that the tenor horn's better for her. So yeah, it's cool. I get them playing. I've got a student at Douglas Park. I don't know how he's got such good talent because he is playing really, really well, and it scares me. Within a month, he could be sitting in our junior band, and then within next year, he could sit in our senior band. It's just moving. But we have the kids that don't, just like everything.
It's coming up too.
Oh yes, so in our senior band at the moment, we have moved, last year we moved Aliana, which we saw before. She's come in, she's moved to tenor horn now. We've got Oshin on trombone, we've got a Kiwa on tenor horn, and we've got another girl, Kalisha, who's come on cornet. Every year our goal is to move more from our junior band into our senior band. Without the senior band, there is no junior band, or junior players. But without the juniors, there is no senior band. We have to be, we're together, is how it works.
So up there, top left is the cornet rank, to the right's pop out, bottom left, Carl, our new solid cornet player, great guy, works at Mills Brothers now, so we've got him, he's got a job, so he's here, I hope, and again the pop out.
The guy Carl's playing next door to is Brian. Brian's 81, he's our oldest member of our band, he conducts our junior band, and he comes with me every Monday and Tuesday to all the schools to teach with me. Him and I work together to do the youth. Okay, yeah, cool, go.
I didn't hear the buzzer.
Neither did I.
Thank you. I'm just intrigued around other funding, because I see you've gone to Trust House and Trust
Yes.
Trust, but you do fit the criteria for some other more national funding, I would imagine, from other areas. Have you investigated other sources?
I had a thing ready to go for TG McCarthy Trust. It said close Saturday the 12th. At 5 o'clock 10 past 5, I hit the button to send it in, got a note back saying, sorry, it closed at 5 o'clock. Nowhere, I didn't find that until in looking at the small print later on. So, yes.
This year we are looking at funding differently. Last year we didn't. We went to the grant thing that was done by the council earlier this year, so that gave us an idea of what was out there. And it does seem like a lot, but what you have to realise is we need new brass instruments for our senior band. A cornet alone is $8,999. Okay, our biggest instrument, which is a double B flat bass, that's $25,000. So the reality is it looks a lot, but it's because when you add on to the instruments, our junior instruments aren't cheap either. They range from $900 to about $7,000, depending on what they're playing. And they have to be serviced, because like everything gets knocked, buggered. And the kids we don't charge a lot because we know right now parents can't afford a lot. We've got people that still owe us money from last year and the year before, and we just slowly work through it and try and get them to pay $5 a week. And it is literally $50 a term they're paying for lessons, which works out $5 a week.
And I think the other thing, Stella, is that it takes time to apply. We've applied for 3 grants. I've probably put 40 to 50 hours in. By the time you get stuff from here, and put it all together, and it does take time. So it is what it is.
No, right. Thank you, Mike.
That's all right.
Thanks for your time, and thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Guys. And we'll let you know the result of the outcome in the next couple of weeks, okay?
That would be good.
That's fine.
Am I right to pull that out?
And if any of you guys ever want to learn a brass instrument, just hit me up.
Thanks, Harriet.
It's not that bad, honest. If you can blow a raspberry, you can blow a brass instrument.
Tim's keen. He needs something to write about in the paper, eh, Tim?
Rightio. So we now have Jenny Barr and Murray Jones from the Morrisville Football Fair Association. So, what was yours, guys? Yes, mate.
Thanks, Steve.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Morning.
So you have 10 minutes to speak, and then 7 minutes to present, and then 3 minutes for questions at the end. You'll hear a bell out.
It's far too long. Gary?
And, just a reminder that the meeting's being live streamed from the Masterton District Council YouTube channel as well. And the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name's Murray Jones and Jennifer Barrade's our secretary. I'm the chair of the Morrisville Country Fair. Now, this fair has been running in the Morrisville domain, if everyone knows where that is, for 27 years, bar a year we had off for COVID. Our main aim is to put funds back in the community by way of the stalls that we have and present. We started off with 10 stalls. Last year we had 90 stalls. We hope to get that magic 100. Now, every year we have volunteers that spend their time and their effort to create our environment. Now we're asking for funding because costs now that we used to get portaloos from the generosity of the council we have to pay for. We have to pay rubbish collection, the bins to be put out and collected. Our costs are rising all the time. We base ourselves on entertainment. If people are entertained, they stay around and spend money at the stalls. The grandfathers and grandmothers are watching the rock and roll band doing the line dancing, with Gary's going to do this year. And it leaves the children to go around all the stalls and spend their money or their parents' money. We also run a barrel train. We have a little Kubota tractor that has 6 barrels on the back of it. That was made by the Henley Men's Shed. We got approached a couple of years ago by someone from the council saying we didn't have an amusement licence. We're going through that process now, which is very, very expensive. The guy's at $189 an hour, plus what we have to do to our thing to make it safe for the children. The other cost we have is that we need the lawns mowed and that sort of stuff. So it's ongoing costs that we're asking the council to help us with. Our budget is about $6,000 a year. Our accounts at the moment, we've always kept $6,000 just in case we pay our entertainment and our other facilities, and the affair gets cancelled, we have to cover our costs. So getting back to entertainment, we have the Emerald Brothers who come every year. They're a big band. They came to our event 10 or 15 years ago on a Sunday on their way home from their efforts. they're booked up a year in ahead. So if you go into the Emerald Brothers, see the Morrisville Fair, they love coming to our event. We love having them. I mentioned the rock and roll band. They come along and sing and play and carry on. It's a really great affair. We also this year have had Mike Butterick turning up with his handpiece to shear a couple of sheep. Now we do that, the Buick boys, Mark, he does a demonstration during the day. It shows the town people what the country people are all about. And that's where we're at. Our craft stalls, we only have handmade crafts that people can do themselves. We don't like the plastic bag fraternity, and I'm not being derogatory. The stuff that comes overseas, we'd rather do without. We have handmade stuff. So that's about all I've got to say, and you're all invited to come out on the Sunday, the first Sunday in December, and have a great time. Turn you over to Jenny to give you the figures.
I haven't got a lot to contribute other than what Murray has said, except for our biggest cost is in advertising, and each year we advertise further and further afield so that we get more interesting stall holders and events coming to the fair to keep the public happy. We have Greenlee's Printing does 22,000 of these for us each year, and our rural delivery people, Katrina and Sean McGillicuddy, they deliver these free of charge from Dannevirke through to Featherston. But the printing cost, of course, for 22,000 is quite high. Advertising, Murray's really good at negotiating with the media works for radio advertising. So at the moment we spend just under 1,000 on radio advertising, but if he went to them with a budget of 2,000, they would work something out for him, and we could advertise further afield, particularly over on the Kapiti Coast, because we have most years a train load of people come from over that coast, which is really appreciated by the stallholders. At the moment our accounts look quite good, but there's a legal requirement at the moment that incorporated societies update their constitution, so we're going through that at the moment. Usually by now we have given out some money to community groups. So if we make money over and above our costs, we do give money to community groups from Morrisville and Koparonga. The school, the playgroup, the renovation of the historical buildings. There's not a huge number of groups out our way, but that's where, if we happen to make money, that's where the money, that's where we give it to, because our committee members are volunteers, and we have a large number of helpers on the day who are from the community. Just forgot what I was going to say. Our main income is from the stallholder sites and from the raffles, which are very energetic on the day, and from donations. We've had assistance from the MDC in previous years, and very generous assistance from Masterton businesses, which has always been very much appreciated.
If I can just speak for more, Jenny. The other thing with costs we have is traffic management. For years we've done it ourselves, but with the new rules we have to employ someone to do the road cones and what have you, which is a cost. And of course it's getting up there all the time, and that's one of the problems that we have, is that we have to spend the money to get the people to come into our premises. So it's all going up all the time, and we appreciate the help that we can get from the council. And it's the other thing we do. We have the local pipe band coming along, and they require a donation. The other thing, Maori Wardens for security. We had them last year, and obviously we paid them some money. They were very helpful. We have a no dogs policy. With sheep measles in the farming community, we don't have any dogs, and people who do present their dogs ask them to leave or put them out so they're not in the arena where we're trying to operate, which is what we need. So obviously we need your help, and we appreciate it. We can get that help.
The
we run from 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The reason being is as Jenny mentioned, the train that comes from Paikakariki is normally pre-booked, and what that does, because it can't, there's a siding at Morrisville, they pull up and then they get buses come into our fair. We have to keep that open. Last year we couldn't, they had a problem with the train, they had to stop in Paiatua and bus down to us. They didn't arrive till about 10 to 4, so most people have gone. So we try and get them around Father Christmas time at 12 o'clock, or between 12 and 1 when he arrives, and we have the local Buick coming in a Buick, and the Buick's driving a Buick bringing Father Christmas in for the children. So we try and get those buses. There's about 150 people turn up, and if we can encompass those...
Sorry to interrupt.
On the train,
On
yeah.
the train.
Yeah, on the train. Yes, it goes right round and stops at Morrisville and then heads off back down to over the hill to Paikakariki. They probably won't be able to do it this year. I think the line's going to be closed, so they're most likely going to bus them from... I speak to the guy from Paikakariki the other day, so...
Yes.
Hey, Murray.
G'day.
What sort of numbers do you usually get to the fair?
Well, last year our parking was 700 cars. So you can average out how many people were in those cars.
We get between 2,000 to 3,000 people,
Yeah.
depending on the weather. Mostly it's fine.
And we do have a gold coin donation just to cover any costs from the local fire brigade. Do all the parking, they've got a great system, just let them do it.
Oh, thank you for your presentation. I was just having a look at this budget, question 12. You've got stallholder fees. How many stallholders are you expecting this year?
Last year we had 90 at $80. This year we hope to get more than that, but we're keeping the cost at $80. We had a few people balk about the costs. It's hard to justify, not for us to justify that $80, but it's got to be there because of our costs have risen this year, so we need to cover those costs. And yes, well, there's a few people that didn't turn up last year, but I think they missed out on a great day. So
Do you take the fee before the people come?
Yes, we encourage them to pay by the 1st of November, and they can go on the draw to win a free side.
that was the other thing to get more people to come. We offered that free site, which we didn't do last year. So if you're in the draw with your site and you happen to get your $80 back, well, that's fine. That's a help. So it's just an encouragement to get more people.
So you over 100 stalls?
Well, we haven't got 100 yet, but we had 90 last year, so hopefully we can get to that magic. If we get any more than 100, we're going to have a problem parking. The Masterton domain is a circle, it's one way in and one way out. And obviously we can't do anything about that, but that's what we have to do. Gary.
Murray, you'd also, there'd be some expense, I take it, in getting Clark's domain ready for this?
Yes, there's an application at the moment for that. The rec services come out and mow it twice. The local farmer who grazes it, he gets off about a month before. We go in and water blast all the facilities, clean up all the toilets and what have you prior to rec services doing it for us, but at least we know it's all ready to go. There's trees to be trimmed and that sort of stuff, and obviously grass to be mowed. So
Do you get charged for the rec services?
yes, we do. Yeah, we do.
You mentioned 6,000 that you were keeping for something.
Yeah, we have a budget. So we have a budget to run the event of $6,000. We always retain that money in case there's a closure of the event, and we've already paid our entertainment ahead, which we do, and all the other people who attend that we pay. So if something happens that we can't run the event, our costs are covered.
And the costs covered, but you don't give them any money. Is that right?
That's right.
That is
And
correct.
we always have enough money then to run a following year.
Yeah.
If it poured with rain and we couldn't hold it, or if the trees fell down across the driveway or
Yeah.
anything like that and we can't hold it, then we've always got enough money to run the next year.
And that's the problem we've had, is the entrance to the domain is surrounded by pine trees, old pine trees. So we try and keep them under control, and if anything happens, you can't get in or out.
Right, thank you, Murray and Ginny.
Can I just ask one more question?
Yep.
You know how you said you get charged for the direct services?
Yes.
Prep for the domain. Do you know what value that is at all?
Well, Bex, this year will be the first time they're going to charge us, because previous years it's been free. So I don't
We don't
know.
know.
But I can imagine it'll be whatever their hourly rate.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
So we'll let you know the outcome of your creation in the next couple of weeks.
Appreciate your time. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
See ya.
G'day. Good.
Right, so we now have Claire from the East Side Community Group. Thank you. Here you've got 10 minutes, so 7 minutes to present and then 3 minutes for questions. So you'll hear a bell after 7 minutes and that will give you time to wind up.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm Clive Comrie, I'm the Treasurer of the East Side Community Group. And this is Claire Wilson. She's one of the administrators on our committee who's doing great work for us at the moment and for Council. East Side Community Group has been going for 9 years now. We advocate on behalf of the people in the East Side. Now the East Side, as you know, is a very depressed area with people who don't have much money and they don't have much fun. So what we try to do is to bring the people together once a year and run our festival. And it's been a great success. We've had 400 or 500 people come during the day, and the kids are having a ball, and I think everybody has enjoyed themselves. And the great thing is that they put all the rubbish in the bins. But we want to run one next February. We used to run it in November, but we run it in February now because of the weather in November was proving to be difficult. And this year the one that we had a reggae band come along and they performed for us, and it was a wonderful performance by these guys. So we've invited them to come back next year and have a bit of fun. We provide food stalls, we have the police, the fire service come and do a demonstration, the ambulance service is there, and we try to get the people together to enjoy each other's company, and it's definitely a multicultural festival. We have Cook Islands, Maori, the Indian dancers doing Bollywood and all those sorts of things. So it's very good.
I've actually made something you guys can quickly look at. If you want to have a look at last year's one.
This is pictures
From last year. So it's also getting people other than the East Side to come to the East Side to realise it's actually not that bad. And a lot of people came last year and was like really amazed, like, wow, this is what the East Side is all about. You're not going to get shot, you're not, you're going to, it's great.
Yeah. The thing we're up against this year is increasing costs, and we will be applying to Trust House in October for another grant from them. They've been very supportive, and so have the council for this year. And we're going to put in a couple of thousand from our own funds that we've got. But we really think that it's getting very expensive to run these things now.
And when the locals have a stallholder, we don't charge anyone for that. It's all free. No one pays to have a stall at the event as well.
Right, does anyone have any questions? Well, we love the East Side.
Kia ora. Yeah.
And so thank you for your presentation, both of you. So what we'll do is we'll let you know the outcome of the in the next couple of weeks, okay?
Okay.
So thanks, Claire, and thanks, Clive, for your time.
Thank you.
for your presentation.
Thank you.
Oh, you want this back, Claire?
Out into the sunshine.
Thanks. What did you do with yourself?
Rightio, so now we have Bob Wilton from the Masterton Motorplex Incorporated to present. Thank you, Bob. So Bob, you've got 10 minutes to speak, 7 minutes to share your presentation and 3 minutes for questions at the end, and you'll hear a bell after about 7 minutes.
Okay.
And just a reminder that the event's being live streamed on the Masterton District Council YouTube channel.
Oh,
The floor is yours.
interesting. Yeah. Well, like you say, my name's Bob Wilton, manager of Masterton Motorplex Drag Racing. What I want to do today is just, for the people what doesn't know what Masterton Motorplex is, just give you a bit of history. 25 years ago, there was a need for drag racing in the Wairarapa because the track at Thunder Park in the Hawke's Bay had closed down. So we went to the council and asked if we could use the aerodrome. We did that for about 15 years, and then it came to a point where, yes, the aerodrome was getting a bit busier and we were getting a bit tireder because we had to put all the crash barriers out, the grandstands and everything else, put them out, take them back, and get them in the meeting. So 10 years ago, we walked across a bit of a land with Bob Francis, and before you know it, the land was bought for, I don't think it was exactly for us, but for the council to do other things, and we've been there ever since. It cost $1.5 million to build the drag strip and the toilet block. We fundraised $1.2 million, and that was through a little bit from the council, a little bit through Eastern and Central, and the rest was Trust House. The other $300,000 we needed, we went to WBS and got a loan, what the council went as guarantors. Now in that last 10 years, we've paid back the $300,000. We've also paid back another $150,000. What we bought a set of timing boards, what are at the finish line on the drag strip, and that shows the public who's won, what times they've done, what ETs, and so on and so on. At the time when we bought them, of course, they've got to come from America. All our timing gear is American-based, and our bragging rights were the biggest in the Southern Hemisphere, so we're pretty happy about that. And it's easy to see, it doesn't matter where you're sort of situated around the place. But why I'm really here today is things are a bit hard at the moment. Things are going up, as everybody realises. We've just had a quote from the ambulance people, and that's gone up another $8,000 for over our 5 meetings. So yeah, it's making it pretty hard. The application, what was put in by the secretary, who happens to be my daughter too, it was for, what have we got here, for ambulance, sanctioning fees, admin fees, manager. I do get paid a little bit because it does take up a hell of a lot of time, and secretary. And there's other basic things where we also have extra portaloos. We're just in the process too of going through that scenario to build another whole toilet block, and it's still an ongoing exercise down there of just building things all the time to keep it up to a standard. And of course, if we had some extra money, we would bring in some overseas people again, like we have done in the past. So yeah, your people's help would be greatly appreciated. And that's about all I got to say, really. Is there any questions?
Thanks, Bob. Any questions, anyone? Thanks.
What sort of... Hi, Bob. How are you?
Bloody good.
You get a lot of people coming from out of town to the meetings as well, don't you?
Oh, for sure. Like our national meetings, we get them far as Invercargill to Whangarei, all over the place. It's not based on Masterton people, it's based on out-of-town people. And of course, don't need to tell us, but when they come from out of town, they've got nowhere to stay, so they've got to stay somewhere in motels or camping grounds,
Yeah.
and the same with everything else, what goes with that.
And on a good meeting, you know, like I always know your analogy when the second car park's full.
Yes,
What sort of numbers would you get?
we're probably touching on about 3,000 to 4,000 then. It's not a great deal of people compared to things like air shows and stuff like that, but the thing is, we have it 5 times a year, and that's where our numbers for us, you know, benefit, and of course everybody else what they've got to use when they're here.
Great. So do you pay rates on that land?
Yes, we do. We pay the council because it's council land. We're halfway through our 10 plus 10 lease, and it is sitting at about it's just over $20,000 per annum.
For rates?
That's for rates and rent of the land, lease.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And hey, we're proud to tell people that too, because we don't want a handout with that. We want to pay the going rate, you know.
Gary?
G'day, Bob.
Hi there.
Bob, you talk about your 5 events, but in actual fact, you do a hell of a lot more than that, don't you? I mean, you've got your own local things that happen. You know, I look at your Facebook page, you seem to have something on quite a bit.
Yeah, well, it's become a thing now where the police are there all the time. They've got their own little building there, and they're testing all the cameras, what gets sent all around New Zealand for people speeding and stuff like that. Just yesterday we had another group there. What they actually were testing was a bit strange. They were testing vehicles, but they were testing grip of road too. And it just goes on and on. I think just in the police there's 5 different departments now, so when they choose to have the new cars, the Scooters, the 5 brands of cars were tested down at the drag strip, and then they picked the Skoda as the car. And then there's spiking of road tyres and that, and they've tested them down there. It's probably getting used at least once a week for some organisation.
Yeah.
Armed Defenders Squad, VIP for Parliament, just goes on and on. It's quite a list actually.
You
Craig?
pay for that though, eh?
Yes, we do. Yeah, that all comes Origin. I don't mind saying it's $600 a day plus GST. But hey, if we didn't have all that, you know, it wouldn't work out. It's there's a cost of running a drag meeting per weekend.
Craig?
Masterton Car Club have a site down there as well.
Yes, they do. We sublease to them, and we give them at the same price, of course, as what the council charge us. The benefit to us is they hire the drag strip occasionally, but they've come up with this Kana type thing at the end of the track, and so we get something back out of that, you know. And we'd like to utilise more people. There's 31 hectares down there, what we lease off the council, and of course we don't use probably half of that. But we wanted to take over the whole lot so we had control. In a nice way, that is.
Any more questions? Right, thank you, Bob.
Yeah, no,
for your time and your presentation. So we'll let you know in the next couple of weeks the outcome.
Yep, no, thanks for your time.
Thanks,
Bob. Yeah.
Thanks,
Oh, and I'd like to see some Warriors down there too. Beck here, she came down last year with Bill.
Yeah.
And
It was awesome.
hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Right, so we now have Andrew Pottinger from the Masterton Golf Club. Welcome, Andrew. So, Andrew, you have 10 minutes, so 7 minutes to present and then 3 minutes for questions at the end from councillors. And the bell will ring after 7 minutes, just to give you a heads up that your time's running up to wind up. And also the events being, a reminder, the event meetings being live streamed on the Masterton District Council YouTube channel. So the floor is yours, Andrew.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to address you. I'm Andy Pottinger. My mother called me Andrew, but I'm Andy to all my friends and enemies. For my sins, I've been chairman of the golf club for 6 years. Came in from Tanui, and that's something I do for the community. Masterton Golf Club has been going for 125 years. Of course, it was the home of Sir Bob Charles. He did his original training here. And just as an aside, Sir Bob Charles is probably better known overseas than he is here. He's still, I think, the 3rd highest money winner in the senior circuit in America. So we probably don't make enough of that as a community. So we have a Sir Bob Charles lounge up there. The golf club, as I say, has been going for 125 years. We're in the process at the moment of doing a total strategic plan review. Part of our idea is to become a hub for the Wairarapa or the Masterton area. We're in discussion with Eastern and Central Right at the moment of becoming an emergency hub. So if there is an emergency, we're up on a hill, there's no risk for flooding and whatever else. We actually at the moment have the emergency trailer setting up there, and possibly on the track further we'll be looking at putting a container with barbecues, bedding, whatever else, and it's sort of come to a bit of a head with the issues they had in Hawke's Bay with Bowler. So that's something with Bowler with Gabriel. What I'm specifically talking about to you today is the Pro-Am tournament. This Pro-Am tournament was set up 20 years ago by Sir Brian Lahore. For 20 years it ran as a conjunction between Masterton and Ekatuna. It was the longest serving Pro-Am in the country, and we certainly enjoyed our association with Ekatuna. 2 years ago, due to logistics and other things, we decided to separate the event, and we run our own Pro-Am in Masterton now, and Ekatuna run the Bush Classic. Past winners of the Pro-Am, we've had the likes of Marcus Wheelhouse, Richard Lee, Josh Geary, Grant Moorhead, called locally Ben Campbell, Harry Bateman. So the Pro-Am is an opportunity for local golfers, both young and old, to play in a tournament with a pro in their team. So you have 3 local golfers and 1 professional, and you play a round of golf. In the past it was 2 rounds, one here, one here. From now on it's 1 in Masterton. So it's a great way to get younger people particularly out there playing golf with a professional. These professionals give of they're playing for prize money, but they give of their time and their ideas to the players in the team. I really enjoyed playing with these people because they give you tips, and it's sort of, it's quite exciting. As I say, some of the players, like Ben Campbell, who's since played in the Live Tour, so it's sort of been a stepping stone for Ben. This year we're running on the 24th of January, so we expect to have 30 professionals coming in, so that will involve 120 players total on the Friday. We normally try and set up the course to the highest standards we can, to PGA tournament standards. In other words, properly mown greens, areas around the greens, and the rough mowing, hence extra costs in preparing the course, extra sand in the bunkers, and the pathways up to scratch. So we in the past have used it as a fundraiser. It's getting harder and harder with sponsorships, so we've come to you people this year to see if the community, if the district council can support us. We have about 500 to 600 people on the course on the day. And as a side to that, we do encourage the community to use the course as a recreational centre. Over COVID, we had people walking there during the afternoon, during the evening. And once again, as part of our strategic plan, we're going to invite the locals to use it as a walking area, so long as they stick to the paths and keep an eye out for golf balls. It's a big green space, it's 37 hectares. And also on top of that, right at the moment, we're in the process of opening the cafe up to the public. We have got a young couple in there who are going to lease the cafe from us, and it will be our public cafe for the community up there. So it's looking really exciting in the future for the club, for the community. So, and we see this Pro-Am as something that just it's sort of the icing on the cake for our year. So I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you. I'm happy to ask any questions.
Thanks, Andy. Are there any questions? I've got one. What sort of numbers will you get coming in for the Pro-Am in terms of...
So last year we had 36 teams times 4, so you'll mass 144. That's players. And it depends on the day. We can have up to 1,000 people wandering around. But if we said 500, that will probably be about normal. We get good support from the local media. Coggy was very good, so the support is there. And we also give our sponsors the opportunity to put signage on the course. We are supported very well by local sponsors, community people, and trustees, of course. They've been great in the past.
Gary?
Gary?
Andrew, does the New Zealand Golf Association, do they give you anything for this?
No. They sanction the event. They plan the event. They organise all the professionals for us. But we operate under their rules. But no, we have to supply $15,000 a day prize money for the professionals. That's what the purse is for them.
So you have to find that money?
We have to find that money. So we find that from sponsorship. Last year we did that. So we got some great support locally. But so that comes out of entry fees and sponsorship. And other fundraising.
One more question. Is it a one-day event, or is it?
It is a one-day event now. It used to be, say, the 2 days, 1 day in Ekahuna, 1 day in Masterton, but logistically that became an issue, and particularly over COVID, it was an issue. I think we ran over COVID, we probably broke a few rules, but we ran. But yeah, it's a 1 day event at Masterton now.
Awesome. Thank you, Andy, and we'll let you know in the next couple of weeks the result of your application.
Good. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very much. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, we now have Alicia and Carl from Alzheimer's Wairarapa, so join us at the table, please. So you have 10 minutes for your presentation, so 7 minutes to share and then 3 minutes for questions at the end. And just a reminder that the meeting, not the event, is being live streamed on the Masterton District Council YouTube channel, and a bell will ring after 7 minutes just to let you know when it's time for questions.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
All right, well, good morning, and thank you for having us here today. My name is Carla, and this is Alicia. We're on the Executive Committee for Alzheimer's Wairarapa. And I just thought I'd talk a little bit about who we actually are at first, so that you're aware. I'm not sure how many of you know who we are. We operate out of Solway Showgrounds at the moment. We have an office there. And we provide community support services for people with dementia in our community. At present, we have no government funding whatsoever, and so all of our services are provided through grants and fundraising. The services that we do provide, they're quite broad actually. We have 2 employees, one is a registered nurse and one is our administrator. The first service that we provide is our registered nurse. So she's a community nurse. She goes out into the community when we receive referrals, which we receive from everybody. So open referral system, GPs, social workers, people can refer online, anything. Tam will go out to the home, assess what that person needs, whether they have an issue that we can help with. If they have other needs, she will refer them to other community organisations, which she has good links with. And then if they are appropriate, then she will refer them to one of our services. The other services that we provide are that we, along with Glenwood Masonic, provide a 2-day-a-week day service called Iona. And what that service does is 2 days a week, our volunteers take the van around, pick up the clients who are suffering from Alzheimer's, and they spend the day at the day service. They have a diversional therapist there who is there to stimulate them, keep them engaged as much as possible to try and slow the progression of this really awful disease. They are safe, they are fed, and they are picked up and they are returned home. While that person is at that service, their loved one is able to go and do day-to-day things, do the food shopping, go to the pharmacy, those kinds of things, without having to worry about their loved one being left at home or taking their loved one with them. So that service, we believe, has a wonderful effect on the community, not only for the person that is affected by the disease, but also as a wraparound service for the whānau. The other services that we provide, one is called Out and About. That is for our clients who have they're a little earlier on in the disease, so they have to be, as we say, young or young at heart. They need to be able to walk for at least 30 minutes unaided, and they need to still be able to use either cash or an EFTPOS card. And so what our registered nurse does with a couple of volunteers is they meet at a location and they go and do events. So they go and do things like they go out to Castle Point and have fish and chips. They go for walks around Henley Lake. They do activities. And the idea behind this is that if people do these things regularly, then they are less likely to lose the ability to do it. So if they're able to go to a cafe and still use their EFTPOS card, it will slow the progression of that disease. If they're sitting at home in a chair looking out the window all day doing nothing, it's more likely to spread rapidly. So that service is run about every 2 weeks at the moment. You all may have seen that we have been raising a bit of a stink recently because we are currently not funded by the Ministry of Health, and we are only able to provide services to the Masterton area. We cannot provide anything into South Wairarapa, though we are working on options to try and make that happen. In the meantime, we are looking to get support to continue our services running at least in Masterton area. The other services that we provide, we do support groups for people who are caring for whānau with dementia. So we have a men's and a women's group. It didn't start out that way, but from experience, Tam kind of learned that men and women communicate in different ways. And so the support groups needed to be separated out, and we find that works really well. So those are run, I think, once a month. We also support our local aphasia group, who run a support group out of our offices in Solway. So as a general overview, that's kind of the services that we provide. We do all of that 100% on fundraising and grants. We are running a big fundraiser later this year, which hopefully you guys will have seen something about, the Lego and Touch Truck event. Please come along, it'll be great. But leaving that aside, we're also doing what we can for raising money to keep these services going. In terms of the Iona project, that is a contract with the Ministry of Health and is run in conjunction with Glenwood Masonic. That being said, we provide the clients, we pick them up and drop them off, we provide the volunteers that run the service, and we provide TAM's help in day-to-day and also in training their diversional therapist. And for all of that, 2 days a week, we get paid about $250. So it barely cleans its face in terms of what we actually get paid and how much it costs us to run. And the out and about service, we don't get any support in providing that. So as a general rule, that's what we are doing. We are looking to move into South Wairarapa, but at the moment we're just looking to try and keep Masterton going. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
Good morning, everybody. I came on to the executive committee probably about 14 months ago, and it was a cause that was dear to my heart because my father suffered from vascular dementia and also ended up in care here in Masterton. And once I got into the organisation, I just realised how much they do, and I guess the impact it has on the clients we deal with, their carers, their whānau, and how they feel supported within the community, because it really is quite a debilitating disease. And the fact that we do this without any funding from Te Whatu Ora is really, it's a miracle, and that the organisation does it so well and with so much love and care. So I think the funding that I put the application in for is to support these two programs, just to keep them going here in Masterton. And look, it's really critical because I'm sure everyone in some way is touched by this awful disease. So yeah, we just really ask you to consider our application strongly because it does have a big impact on the people of Masterton. We are staffed with about 45 very good and loyal volunteers. So they help drive the van, they help support TAM with our clients on the days out. We have, I don't know if you're familiar, but we also have the garage at Solway, and Brian and the A-team run that for us, and there's a big garage sale there every Saturday that raises about $500 a week for us on average. So we kind of tap into every avenue that we can, and I've taken on the grants role in the last few months, and I'm digging deep into where I can. And we've had some moderate success, so we just keep going.
Do we have any questions, Gary?
Is the Alzheimer's New Zealand, do they not? Does money not come down from them for you people?
No. So in the last year, they give you the occasional grant. So they gave us $20,000. I think it was either towards the end of last year or early this year, and it has to be targeted at a specific cause. So in this situation, that was to hire a contract manager to progress our application or our proposal with Te Whatu Ora. We had been working on that for some 2 years and had many meetings with them to kind of try and progress that, indicated it was going to be favourable, otherwise we wouldn't have spent $20,000 on a contract manager. That's the only money that we have had from
it doesn't flow down on a yearly basis?
It does not, no. They don't get funding to do that. It's not kind of a situation of you've got a head office and branches. We're all separate entities. We are our own registered charity and incorporated society. So they provide us with advocacy. They are helping us with that specifically at the moment in relation to our discussions with Te Whatu Ora. But in terms of financial support, no, we are on our own.
You got to look after yourselves.
Absolutely.
Any questions? Anyone else? Right. Well, thank you, Alicia and Carla, for your time and your presentation and for what you do in our community.
Thank you very much.
We'll let you know in the next couple of weeks the outcome
Thank you
of
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Right, is this Maddie?
Kia ora.
Hey, Maddie. So, Maddie, welcome to the table. Straight into the room, straight to the table. So you've got 10 minutes, Maddie, 7 minutes to present, and there'll be 3 minutes for questions at the end as well. And just a reminder that the meeting's being live streamed on the Masterton District Council YouTube channel, so the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me today. I don't know if I quite have 7 minutes of presentation, but I just wanted to come today to talk a little bit to the application and put a face to it as well. So my name's Maddie. I work with an organisation called Mountains to Sea Wellington. So we're a small not-for-profit that started out based in Te Whanganui-a-Tara, but we now have 2 of us based out here in the Wairarapa. So our mahi is focused around connecting people to Te Taiao through a range of activities, but we've got kind of 2 branches, our Explore wing, which is childhood education, getting kids out into the environment and monitoring rivers and the ocean. And then we also have our Restore branch, which we have a seaweed restoration project in Te Whanganui-a-Tara. And then out here in the Wairarapa, I work with rural catchment communities, reconnecting them with their rivers and working to come up with plans around how we can better manage them going forward. So a big part of our work is fun events to engage people with the natural environment. We think a big part of the kaupapa of getting people restoring waterways is actually just connecting to them better in the first place. So one of the events that we are really keen to try and get off the ground this year is something that we've now dubbed Waipoa on Wheels. So the idea basically is that we would take a guided tour along the Waipoa River, and then along the way we'd have a bunch of different stations with local collaborators. So we have already had Cycling Toms engage and offer to donate bikes for 50% off for the day, which is an amazing contribution. And then along the way, we've had Joe Patangaroa from Patangaroa Education offer to talk around the history of the Waipoa River and some of the pūrākau of the area. So he would set up a station and people would stop at that. Mountains to Sea would also run a station around water quality, and we would do some fish biodiversity monitoring so people can have a look at some of the beautiful tuna that live in the Waipoa River. We have also connected with Sam Te Tau and Fab Lab around the Whitipoa Bridge. So the Whitipoa Bridge was installed, I think a couple of years ago now, but it has these incredible carvings on it that were a collaboration with local carvers and Fab Labs. So they would talk to that whole project and some of the meaning behind those carvings. And then the final station would be at the Waipoa Papa Wānanga planting site with Sam Ludden and Janine Ogg. So they've offered to donate some plants for the day, and we'd put on a barbecue and have some shared lunch and put some plants in to do a little bit of conservation effort too. So it's around getting people engaging with the Waipoa, and they get to touch the water and see what lives in it and learn about the history, and also connect in the conservation efforts along the Waipoa as well. All just as a family fun day out. So the main reason that we've applied for the grant today is a big part of our kaupapa is free events. So we would really like to be able to offer this to the Masterton public as a totally free family fun event. And so to do that, the big cost basically is the bike hire. So we would love to be able to offer this to people, and there'd be no barriers for people connecting in this environment. Yeah, so I think that's probably all I've got to say at the moment, but open for any questions around the project or the kaupapa or anything.
Any questions, anyone? I've got one. So what sort of route would it be along the Waipoa? Is there a planned route that you'd be using?
Yeah, absolutely. So we would start out at Cycling Tom's, which is down kind of Solway area, and then we've engaged with the group around the Ngā Piko Rau o Whakaoriori, which is the mapping project around mapping the rivers that flow through through Masterton. And so we'd stop there, putting po in place in some places, so we'd stop at one or two of those along the way, and Joe Patangaroa, who's involved in that project, would talk to the po that have gone in, and then we would come up Colombo Road to the start of the Waipoa bike trail, and essentially follow that along, and have the fish station, the station talking about the Waipoa River. It would come past the Whitipoa Bridge, and then it ends with the planting site, which is just past the Whitipoa Bridge, and then we'd come in a loop back to Cycling Tom's.
Stella?
Thank you for your presentation. So you've got that you'd have 40 bike participants, and I know that you can book through your website, for your free events.
Yeah.
Would that be capped at 40, or would you still be encouraging people to come by foot, like if my family wanted to come down and join in?
The cap of 40 is the limitation of bike availability from Cycling Tom, so they only have 40 bikes that they could hire out, but we are definitely open to exploring having people maybe join us, not for the whole route, because that's a really long way to walk from Cycling Tom's, but the river part, joining on foot for those stations,
so how
and that would be free.
Yeah, how would you advertise that, to get?
We'd just have two different ticket options, I think. So it would be first in, first served on the bikes, and then anybody that just wanted to walk as well and join. We definitely try to encourage people to register for our events, health and safety wise. We need to know numbers.
Awesome, cool, thank you.
Maddie, are you looking to make this an annual event, or is this a one-off?
If it is successful, we would love to make it an annual event, and either do it along the Waipoa each year so that people could engage with it and we could adapt it as different collaborators come on board, or we could explore the idea of looking at the other waterways around Masterton. Yeah, definitely, if it works out, we're keen to run this annually.
I noticed by your that you've got net profit of 58,000. Is that the Wellington whole of the, not just the one river?
Yes, that I think is our whole organisation, that any of those financial documents. Yeah, so we've got a staff of about 18 spread across Te Upoko, Te Ika. So we work all along Kapiti through Te Whanganui, Tara, Porirua, Hutt Valley, and up here in Wairarapa as well.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Any more questions, anyone? Right, thanks, Maddie. So we'll let you know the outcome of your application in the next couple of weeks. Thanks for your time and for your presentation.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
I'll see you there.
That's good. Yeah,
take up on
Is you ready to go?
Don't know, really 5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes.
Are we ahead of time?
Yeah.
So, my question would be, why would we previously not charge Morrisville and then this year charge them?
Are we, online? Are we still being recorded? We're still live.
It's still an okay question. Why would we not charge Morrisville previously and now Beck Services are charging them this year?
We need to find it out.
Hi Jennifer, can you hear us? Oh, you need to turn your mic on, Jennifer. Right, have another go, Jennifer. Can't hear you. Still can't hear. Our tech guy's just having a look at this end.
Everything's working at this end, Chair.
So everything's working at this end, and your microphone's turned on. Right, here we go now, Jennifer. Can you hear us? We can't hear you though. Have another go. Right, can you hear us, Jennifer?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Perfect.
Oh, sorry about that, guys.
That's all right. So, Jennifer, you have 10 minutes to present altogether, so 7 minutes for you to share, and then you might hear a bell here, but I'll give you a thumbs up, and then it'll be 3 minutes for questions at the end after that. So the floor is all yours. Go for it.
Thank you. So good morning. My name is Jennifer Anderson, and I am the current General Manager of the Wairarapa Balloon Festival. I've held this role for a few months now. Prior to that, I was helping in the administration side of things for their previous Ascensions this year. I'm here today to request a grant contribution of $10,000 to support our upcoming event, which is scheduled to take place over Easter weekend from the 17th to the 21st of April 2025 within the Wairarapa region. The Balloon Festival is an opportunity for us to celebrate and promote the sport of ballooning in the area while showcasing the amazing, stunning Wairarapa landscape. Our festival is designed to promote, to bring together locals and visitors into the region, creating that sense of community and providing a boost to our local economy and businesses that have faced economic difficulties within recent years. This year we have planned several exciting activities to coincide with our big festival that will be happening, our main event that will be happening. Each morning we will feature spectacular balloon ascensions, weather permitting of course, that allow our spectators to witness the breathtaking sight of colourful balloons soaring over the Wairarapa region. In addition, we are hosting the Wairarapa Balloons Family Carnival, renamed from the previous Nightglow events that you'll be familiar with, at the Solway Showgrounds in Masterton on Saturday the 19th of April 2025. The carnival will offer a variety of family-friendly entertainment, local food stalls and craft vendors, providing a fun-filled afternoon and evening for all ages, including the hot air balloons, to finish weather permitting. Understanding the predictable nature of large events, we are developing a robust contingency plan. This plan will include protocols for potential cancellations and a comprehensive refund system for our carnival to ensure that no one loses their site payments or ticket purchase prices should the unforeseen circumstances arise. Our primary goal is to make this festival as accessible and enjoyable as possible for all attendees by keeping the Wairarapa Balloon Family Carnival entry costs low and our morning ascensions free. We aim to create an affordable experience for families and individuals, allowing them to create lasting memories in our beautiful region. The Wairarapa Balloon Festival is exploring additional revenue streams beyond ticket sales and grant contributions. However, these avenues may not be fully developed before the event. While we are committed to achieving self-sufficiency, in the long run, this process will take time, and we do greatly appreciate the support that you have given us over the years and your consideration on this grant funding application, as it will be instrumental in the festival's success. The impact of the festival extends beyond just the weekend itself. It has the potential to stimulate local business, increase tourism, and foster a sense of community pride. Your support through this grant will play a crucial role in making this vision a reality. Thank you very much for considering our application. We truly appreciate your support and look forward to the possibility of partnering with you to make the Wairarapa Balloon Festival a resounding success.
Thanks, Jennifer. Now, does anyone have any questions? Gary.
Jennifer, Gary Caffel here. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Good. Hey, Jennifer, the family festival you're talking about in Masterton, you're saying that's afternoon and evening. That's an all-day event now, is it? Basically.
So basically, it's the night glow that you'll be familiar with, but it has been renamed, and it possibly could have been given extra hours to what you've seen in the past. Yes.
So there will be events during the afternoon and the evening.
Yes, so the Family Carnival we have scheduled from 3 p.m. till around about 8. I think that for the 25 event we're quite lucky because it falls within daylight savings, so our families won't be out too late at night, especially for the little ones and the older ones who don't like being out past 8:30.
Thank you.
Any more questions, anyone? No. Well, thank you, Jennifer, for your presentation. So we'll be in touch in the next couple of weeks just to let you know the outcome of your application. So thank you for your time and thank you for your presentation.
Thank you so much, and I hope to meet you guys at some point and see you all at the event.
You will. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Hello, Bruce. Can you hear us?
Yes. Kia ora koutou. Yes, I can. Tim, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. That's fantastic. So, Bruce, you have 10 minutes, so 7 minutes to present and then 3 minutes for questions after that. So the airways are all yours. Oh, and this has been recorded on the MDC YouTube channel as well, just a heads up. Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you very much. Well, again, thank you very much for convening and hearing this this application. So some of you will be aware of our program. I think it's a fairly well recognised program across the Wairarapa. It's an award-winning program, and it's also recognised nationally. It's been going since really in full force since 2018, and we have relied heavily on funding from initially the Community Road Safety Fund, which is the fund administered by Waka Kotahi or NZTO. This is that fund's been on pause since about May or perhaps earlier because of the government-directed cost savings initiatives to agencies. We have no idea if indeed we'll get any funds from the CRSF, so we're in uncertain funding times. We also have been very grateful over the years, for the funding support from councils and particularly NDC. So basically it's the only free driver training program across Wairarapa. It's there to address our barriers for some of our communities, particularly Māori and Pacifica. We've just cracked the 400 mark the other week, 411 predominantly young drivers associated with our colleges. The main tick box, or the first thing to be covered off, is safe drivers. So if we can turn out safe drivers, that's my box tick. Also, of course, from gaining a licence, in about 75% employment requires a driver's licence. Many of these young people have gone on to obtain either part-time or full-time work across the region. This also supports, obviously, our economies locally and our communities. Of those 411 young people, we just had 2 or 3 this week past, very hard to track them moving forward because we can't track them through police data, being a breach of privacy, etc. But we work very closely with police. Every time there's a substantial crash, I'll get in touch with the police mates and have a look at the crashes to see if there's anything that we can assist with. I haven't heard of one instance where any of our successful graduates have been involved in any major crash in our region. So I think that goes a long way to support best practice, what we're doing in the program. And as I said, if we can reduce the incidence of serious injuries and deaths on our local roads, all the better. It supports, as I said, the 4 colleges in Masterton, Makota, Waikato, Chamel and Solway. And particularly 3 of those have high Māori and Pacific roles. And these are the kind of students that face rather large financial and social barriers. They haven't got safe cars, they haven't got access to mentors, etc. So on top of that are the financial pressures with, maintaining your car, petrol, and of course the fees incurred when one books in for a test. On top of those colleges, the program also supports Te Pō Wānanga, Change Makers, which supports the refugee intakes. I've actually did a lift and shift, set up their program, and now it's run by Jenny Jo Wardner on behalf of the Red Cross Pathways to Settlement. I'm still heavily involved as I induct and train the mentors as they come and go. We have about 57 inducted and trained and police vetted mentors in the program across the Wairarapa, and we support about 16 personnel in some of those entities, being the colleges, where we have dedicated program, CDMP program support staff, police, REAP, Te Pō Wānanga staff, so about 16 people we support in those entities as well. We've got 5 training cars across the district. They're all dedicated and specialised driver training cars, and they're highly visible, sign written and well recognisable. In terms of funding, as I've already briefly covered off, the total uncertainty with funding from the CRSF. We have had 5,000 from the CDC, and they've honoured a contractual arrangement set in train about 3 years ago. So we've got another year of $5,000 input investment in this program from CDC. Traditionally, the NDC has awarded us 10,000. Takes about 40k to run the program per annum, and without going into the total breakdown, I think that all those breakdowns have been sent through. Yeah, I would hate to see this driver training program fold. I think that it's value for money. It works out total costs over the years it's been running to be around about $500 per student. So if someone not on the program was to even pay for 3 driving lessons and the cost of a restricted test booking, that's about $500. Some of our students, you know, our mentors work with them for months. We have neurodiverse, we have some kids for whatever reasons are extremely anxious, and we've noticed an uptick in that behavioural sense over the last 2 or 3 years. So I believe it's a very, very important program for road safety. And of course, it ticked all the boxes when we had the wellbeing areas. But of course, that's been gone now. If we just look at it through a lens purely of road safety, reducing fatal and serious injuries crashes, which cost around about $5 million per fatality and about $900,000 per serious injury. That and the economic benefits, as I said, from feeding young people through after they attain their licence and attain local employment, I think it's high value for money. And of course, as I said, it's all about road safety from my workspaces. Don't know how much time I've got, but Tim and the group up and rave on about road safety forever. But basically, that's the nuts and bolts of how the program works, who it supports, and as I said, we would be delighted to have some kind of support from council. We understand of the fiscal constraints and pressures upon council, but I think this program is all too important to not be it supported funding-wise from our council.
You're right on time, Bruce. Any questions, Bex?
Yeah, hi Bruce, Bex here.
Hi there.
Just a question. You talk about the Waka Kotahi funding. What is the value of that usually?
Around about 30k.
Great, thank you.
Yep. And as I said, it's been on pause, and we have. I've had indication that if there was investment, it wouldn't be nearly that amount due to the fiscal constraints that are undergoing presently.
Thank you.
Craig.
Hi, Bruce. Craig here.
Hi, Craig.
Realistically, you think you'll get to maybe 500 people passing the test during the year, and they would be predominantly people who would normally struggle to afford driver lessons?
Yes, absolutely, Craig. So we've been tracking along around about 85 graduates per annum. So this year we've got through, from January, the calendar year, I think we're up to about 75. So, yeah, in the very near future we'll be cracking on to 500. As long as the program continues, there is no doubt that we'd still maintain that average annual pass rate of around about 85.
Bruce, do you see benefits for the mentors as well, not just the people getting the training?
Incredibly so, Tim. And one of the things that they've spoken about is this relationship between the generations, and just the odd words of wisdom around perhaps something outside the driving program. So for the mentors, it's all about giving back to the communities. They're looking to give back. Here's the opportunity. We've had mentors on the program since 2017, and I'm sure somebody will be aware of community members doing that. And we regularly approach school communities. I think there's a lot of folk out there with a bit of time who are starting to give back to their old colleges, their alma maters. but also Rotarians, Progress, and other service groups like that. So these people get a hell of a lot out of it. We've got a mentor luncheon pending in a fortnight. We get there and thrash out some issues, but they love it. And as I said, there's been some long-standing mentors on the program.
Any more questions? Marama?
Kia ora, Bruce.
What
you spoke about neurodiverse and refugees, but do you retrain stroke victims who are trying to regain their licence?
We have had several inquiries over the last probably 18 months. Some of those people can be directed to other services who support them. We've actually had 2 or 3 over the line physically disabled, using aids, steering wheel aids, and aids for pedals, mirrors, etc. And we have got those people over the line. In terms of stroke victims, you know, the range of issues can be quite diverse. So predominantly we don't support too many of them, but as I said, we have got at least 3 from my memory of those folk over the line.
Any more questions, anyone? Right, thanks Bruce, thanks for your presentation and your time. So we'll be in touch in the next couple of weeks just to let you know the outcome of your application. So thank you.
Thanks. Thank you so much for your time. Kia ora koutou. Ngā mihi.
Right everyone, so we're now adjourned for lunch and we'll be back at 12:40. Thanks everyone.